Processing shame. Shame is a self-conscious emotion marked by feelings of inadequacy and the urge to hide one's perceived flaws. Unlike guilt, which focuses on actions, shame centers on feeling bad about the self. Chronic shame is linked to depression, anxiety, and social withdrawal. Learning to process shame in a positive, healthy way is crucial for mental well-being. This presentation explores evidence-based strategies for processing shame, including cognitive behavioral techniques, mindfulness, and compassion-focused approaches. Introduction to shame and its impact. Shame can distort self-perceptions, leading to feelings of unworthiness. To process this, practice self-compassion, engage in therapeutic activities, and foster open communication in supportive networks, enabling healthier connections and reducing the isolating effects of shame. Understanding the difference, shame versus guilt. With shame, the focus is on the self. Shame emphasizes a flawed self-perception and feelings of unworthiness, versus guilt, where the focus on action. Guilt is linked to specific behaviors that one feels regretful about. Guilt can be a positive reflection that can empower individuals to correct actions and foster personal growth. Shame has a negative impact that can lead to isolation, chronic anxiety, and depression if unaddressed. Oftentimes, shame is turned into avoidant behavior that often leads individuals to withdraw from social interactions and relationships, while guilt can be used to motivate change that encourages responsibility and can strengthen relationships through communication. Consequences of chronic shame on well-being. One consequence is social withdrawal. Chronic shame often leads to avoiding social interactions, which exacerbates feelings of isolation and inadequacy. Shame can also create mental health issues. Persistent shame can contribute to anxiety and depression, impacting overall emotional well-being significantly. In relationships, shame can create barriers to open communication, hindering the ability to form deep and meaningful connections. The cycle of shame, distorted negative thoughts and behaviors. It most often starts with experiencing overwhelming feelings of shame. Negative thoughts become negative patterns of self-talk. One may avoid social situations, withdraw, and isolate oneself completely. Then we tend to judge ourselves, resulting in harshly shaming for perceived flaws over and over again. Hopelessness can set in developing a persistent sense of resistance to change. Feelings of despair become increasingly difficult to manage. Those with overwhelming shame tend to isolate from friends, family, and the community. This cycle reinforces negative beliefs about oneself and repeats itself. Processing shame, acknowledgement, and acceptance. And here is a solution. The first thing that can be done is to recognize shame triggers. Do this by identifying situations that provoke feelings of shame. Cultivate self-compassion. Practice kindness towards oneself during difficult times. Recognize the shame as important information that can be processed in a positive way. Next, share your feelings and experiences. Discuss feelings with trusted friends or therapists. Engage in mindfulness. Stay present and observe feelings without judgment. The role of kindness, empathy, and self-compassion in healing shame. First, being aware starts with recognizing and acknowledging feelings of shame and inadequacy. The feeling is important and can be processed. Next, it is important to accept oneself, flaws and all, as a human experience. Understanding the triggers and origins of shameful feelings helps your cognitions understand what is going on with your feelings and thus validates them. Self-compassion means applying kindness and empathy onto your feelings of shame, building supportive relationships, sharing personal experiences, creates relational connections we all need. Reframing negative self-talk into positive affirmations about oneself without rejecting the feeling. Developing healthy coping strategies to process shame creates resilience. Embracing vulnerability, connecting through shame.
I just failed a major exam, and the shame hit me hard. I felt like I was drowning in thoughts like, I'm stupid, and everyone will judge me. But instead of letting those feelings consume me, I paused and acknowledged my shame. It's just an emotion, not who I am. I took a few deep breaths, focusing on the present moment, noticing the tightness in my chest and the tension in my shoulders. I realized that this grade doesn't define my intelligence. Everyone fails sometimes. So I reframed my thoughts. I didn't do well this time, but I can learn from it. I practiced self-compassion, reminding myself that it's okay to stumble. I reached out to a classmate and we talked about our struggles. It felt good to know I'm not alone. I transformed my shame into an opportunity for growth, and now I feel more confident in facing setbacks. I just failed a major exam, and the shame hit me hard. I felt like I was drowning in thoughts like, I'm stupid and everyone will judge me. But instead of letting those feelings consume me, I paused and acknowledged my shame.
Thank you for being part of today's journey. Your time, attention, and openness reflect a shared commitment to understanding trauma and championing resilience, not just as clinical or academic concepts, but as lived realities that impact our families, communities, and futures. At the Center for Trauma and Resilience Research, we believe real change happens when knowledge meets compassion and when diverse voices come together to drive healing forward. Whether you're here to learn, advocate, collaborate, or reflect, your presence matters, and your efforts make a difference. As we close, we invite you to stay connected, continue the conversation, and carry forward what you've learned into the spaces where you live and lead. Healing is not linear, and resilience is not one size fits all, but together we can build systems, relationships, and responses that support recovery, dignity, and hope. Thank you again for joining us. We look forward to walking this path with you. These are the key sources that inform this presentation. They represent research from psychology, theology, and cultural studies.